Hello, good evening, and you're watching Call the Red. We're going live to react to the Everton versus Man United game. Have a little bit of a general catch up on what's happened in the last couple of weeks or so since the last went live, and just generally see how we go. So just want to sort of go through a few things. So first of all, before we get into anything, if you're watching this, please do me a massive favour, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, really helps me out, so much appreciated if you do that. Thank you very much, absolute legends if you do. Going to the game, the Everton game, I mean, it was hardly vintage United. Some people saying Everton weren't that great, but especially towards the end of the game, Everton put a lot of pressure on us. Everton, they were really going for it, and we had to hold firm defensively. And I think it was a um, it's not a vintage performance, it's not an amazing performance, but I think it showed that the solidity in the team, the spirit, the character in the team is definitely compared to where we were last season is just leaps and bounds. It's night and day. There's just such a big difference that it's just yeah, it's such a lift. It's such a positive as a United fan to be able to take that, because even when it's a hard game, it's a tough game. Last season, we'd have just rolled over. We'd have gone 1-0 down early on. We'd just rolled over, probably lost 2-0, 2-1. And that would have been that. This season, we come back. We go down, but we come back, we fight back, and then we win the game, and we get to 2-1 up from 1-0 down, and then we see it out, and that's the difference. It's a mentality. It's something's down to the coaching, obviously, in terms of players being better organised. But that difference is so plain to see as a fan, and it's just amazing. It's such a great feeling to know that it's not all over. As soon as we go down, it's not all over. We've still, we can still go back into the game. We can still fight. We can still work our way back into it, and we can still go on and draw or even win the match. Correct. So that's a massive positive. Casemiro made a huge difference in my opinion. I think it's at half time we were like 70% possession. Whereas the matches we've won this season generally we've been having about 50 to 60-ish% possession. So just having Casemiro there, someone like him who can just, okay, yes, he did give the ball away a few times and whatever, but it generally made up for that mistake, and if you look at look at the amount of passes he made, compare Casemiro to a McTominay or a Fred. McTominay, even when he plays a full match, he can sort of have 30, 35 passes in 90 minutes. And Casemiro tonight, far more than that. Again with Fred, similar sort of thing. Casemiro, he just the touches on the ball, the passes he makes. Eriksen next to him again doing the same sort of thing, but in a slightly more advanced position. It just makes us a better team. There's a bit more. There's a bit more of a dynamism in that midfield area. That we're not just we're not just got two midfielders who've just been bypassed. Not touching the ball all game. We've actually got midfielders who are getting hold of the ball, wanting the ball, making themselves available to receive it, and making those little passes, those little 1-2s, little passing triangles that you see sometimes going on. And it's such a good thing to see. After last season, where we saw, well, we had no midfield last season. Let's be honest, we had no midfield. We were like a bagel last season. There was just a hole in the middle. We just play straight through. This season, we're looking different. We're looking better. There's still some way to go. Obviously, the Man City game showed that, but we are on the right path, and I think a lot of that is to do with the manager and the signings obviously that he's brought in. When you've got people like Cristiano Ronaldo, Casemiro on the pitch, these are people who have won, 4 or 5 whatever Champions League winners medals, have won international honours, whatever. They've pretty much won everything. These are the players who they've got that winning mentality. These are the players who won't accept being second best, who always want to win. And having that, and last season, like we had Ronaldo up front, but especially as a striker, you can't on your own as a striker. If you're not getting the service, you can't drag the team across the line, because especially as a 37-year-old, if you're having to drop deep to get the ball, you're not close to the goal when you do get it. To actually, you're 37, you haven't got that pace anymore. You can't just run past the whole team on your own. you need that throughout the team. You need that, especially in the spine of the team. You need that winning mentality. And with Varane, if he can stay fit, I know he was out today, but tonight, whatever. But Varane, Casemiro, Ronaldo, you see that winning mentality. It's an elite mentality, elite, and second is first loser. That's the mentality that you have to have at Manchester United if you want to win trophies, if you want to be up there at the end of the season in the league table. That's the mentality. The whole team hasn't quite got that yet, but we're getting there. It's an improvement. We're working in the right direction, and the changes that are being made, the playing staff that have been brought in, the coaching, the improvements you can see in the players who were there last season, to me, that's all on Eric Ten Hag. He has worked wonders already with the team that he's got at his disposal. And I don't think that team's probably even 50% to where he wants it to be. He wants to be having 75%, 75% possession in every match. He wants to be camping on the edge of the opposition's penalty area, probing, moving defenders around, waiting for an opening, paying goal. That's what he wants. He wants us to be that team. Look at his Ajax side. Look how they used to play. How they used to dominate possession. How they'd be just camped on the edge of the box, just little passes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, side to side. Opening appears, we're in, goal. That's where he wants us to get to, I'm sure. We're not there yet. We're not there. Nowhere near. But it's progress. And that's it's a breath of fresh air. When we've had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, before that Jose Mourinho, before that obviously Louis van Gaal. And it was all possession for the sake of possession. It was, it was reactive rather than proactive. It was, it was very, it was counter-attacking. It was a deep line. It just was not attractive football. Now we're seeing where we are trying to be proactive. We're trying to get at teams. We want to keep the ball. We want to make them work. And it's such a big difference. It is such a big difference. I cannot emphasise. I try to think if we got Pochettino, like the British press wanted, because they know Poch and they didn't know Ten Hag. The British press wanted Pochettino. We didn't go with it, and I'm so glad that the club listened to the fans for once, because if they listened to the Gary Nevilles and the other sort of voices, influential ex-player voices in the media, would have gone for Pochettino. I think it was Roy Keane and possibly Paul Scholes. We're on about Diego Simeone, and again, I'm taking it wrong. Simeone gets results. We've seen it at Atletico, but he's not a manager who plays that exciting attacking football. He doesn't, he's a counter-attacking manager. 35% of the ball, hit on the counter, nick a goal, job done. That's not what we want to be anymore. We've been that for years. We can't say we don't want to be, so we have been it. To some extent, we still are that. But we don't want to be there anymore. We want to be exciting, attacking, progressive. We want to dominate the matches, not have the other teams come at us and we just line up with pace players up front to try and do that long ball over the top and hit it on the break every time. So there's definitely been changes. There's definitely progression. Casemiro tonight I thought was brilliant. Eriksen was brilliant. Martinez again, the butcher of Amsterdam. Dalot. I'm not saying any of these players were perfect and didn't make any mistakes. Of course, they made mistakes, but it's the sort of performance that you want to see. And obviously, it can be built on, it can be improved, but it's a solid base to work from. We're not looking and going, oh my God, why have we got these players in our team? Why is he there? Why is he there? Get him out. I don't want to see Harry Maguire anymore. I don't want to see. I mean, Maguire. Yeah, obviously I know he's been injured, but he wasn't in the team anyway even before his injury, was he? He was on the subs bench. So just seeing these changes, it's a massive morale lift. It's such a boost mentally as a fan that you go into the matches and you're not worried. You're not worrying about the outcome. You're not worried about getting turned over by Everton or Watford before the match, thinking, oh, we can let in 4 or 5 goals today because they've got a couple of fast forwards and Maguire can't turn. Just hang that away, and then so you replace Maguire with Martinez, and then in the midfield McTominay's improved from last season, of course he has. We've all seen that at the start of the season. But then you're bringing in an elite specialist defensive midfielder in Casemiro who can come in, and again, there's that step up. So you've got step up at defence, step up in midfield. And straight away, you're seeing that improvement. The fullback positions, Dalot is so much better than Wan-Bissaka at getting forward. And and he gets forward, makes those overlapping runs. Anthony again he seems like an upgrade, an improvement on what we've had there previously. So just you make those improvements in each department, and it's like building a wall, isn't it? If you just replace one brick, you see a little improvement there. But if you've got a few crumbling bricks all out across, you take that one out and that one out and that one out and that one out, and you replace them all, your wall's a lot more solid. It's a lot more solid. It can handle a lot more pressure, and it does its job and much better as a wall. And that's what's happened to our football team. It's actually improved because we've taken out a lot of these bricks which were crumbling and falling apart, not good enough, and replacing with strong, solid, brand new bricks that we know can handle the pressure, can handle the load, and that's what we've done. And the results are there for everyone to see. The results are there. Now, we've had some, I think it's probably been a couple of weeks since I last went live, so just to sort of recap through, I mean, obviously, I think we discussed the Sociedad game last time, where we didn't deserve to win the game. Of course, we didn't deserve to win it, but ultimately we were robbed. We were absolutely robbed by that penalty decision. It was never a penalty. What the ref and VAR were doing that night, I do not know. But it is what it is. We'll have to get revenge when we play them in their place. Obviously, we had the Palace and Leeds games postponed because of the passing of the Queen. The Palace game, every game that weekend was postponed in the Premier League, and the Leeds game. If we'd been playing at Bournemouth, it probably would have gone ahead. Because it was Leeds and it was Category A for policing, and said, "Oh, we need the police down in London because of the Queen's funeral and everything." That got postponed as well. So obviously we had the 2-0 away win at Sheriff. It's the sort of game you expect to win. To be fair, we probably made a little bit harder work of it than we had to, but a win's a win. Group stage. It's not about the performances; just getting the points on the board, get through. You want to win the group. I don't know if you watch this, if you realise Europa League this season. If you win your group, you go straight into the last 16. If you come second, if you're the group runner-up, you go into the round of 32. We have to play a two-legged tie against a third-place team from the Champions League. So you're having to play 2 more matches against potentially dangerous, difficult opposition. I mean, it could be an Atletico Madrid or a Barcelona, the way the Champions League's looking right now. Obviously, it could all change, of course, but, you don't want to be drawing a team like that. Such an early round, just to then catch up with everyone else who won their group. So obviously we want to win the group. The Man City game. Look, we all knew. I mean, City are just destroying everyone this season. Erling Haaland alone is just a beast, and he's getting the service. He's going to put them away. 6-3. My worry was when they went goal up early on. I think it was something like the 8th minute. My worry was that we're going to see a repeat of last season where we just rolled over and just gave in and let it could be a cricket score. It didn't happen straight away, so I think the next goal came about 34th minute. Yes, I'm just having a quick look here. Yeah, 34th minute then when Erling Haaland scored his first goal. So there was a bit of a gap, but we actually, I'm not saying we were the better side, but it's like we dug in and we showed a bit of strength, a bit of resilience, and that was a positive. But City, it was just the quality. I don't think it was that we put up the white flag or we gave in, like last season. It was just they were just too good, and it just showed that game. Just showed the difference, the difference in quality between the two sides. There's no point blaming individuals. I just think as a team, as a collective, we just weren't good enough on the day. I think we're just generally not at that level yet. We're not. We've still got some way to go, but we are doing better than we were last season. There's still progress. Just because you're not as good as Man City doesn't mean that you kind of, we were down here last season. We were all the way down here, and City are up here. So we've come up to here, but we've still got that way to go to catch them. So we're on the right path. But the thing is, obviously, you move football this much, and City move football that much. So you're not. It's one of them, where, especially when you see the Glazers come out saying, "Oh, we're not going to spend any more," or it wasn't the Glazers, obviously, it was their, it was Arnold and Murta, obviously, who's the CEO and the director of football at United, who were saying we're not going to be able to spend in the coming summer. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing when you see things like that, because you know that we need to spend again to actually catch up on City, to not just maintain the gap as it is, but it is what it is. When you've got Erling Haaland and obviously Foden got a hat trick, obviously he's a real talent as well. Yeah, they just were the better team on the day. The 3 goals we got in the second half, especially the 2 late ones, obviously from Martial, it puts a little bit of respect on the scoreline. But 6-1 would have, if it had been 6-1, I thought it'd be the same as it was 6-3. To be honest, we just we're outdone by a better side, and it is what it is. Obviously, we have. Since then, obviously, we beat Ammonia Nicosia. I still think Ammonia sounds like some sort of COVID strain, but hey ho. Again, it was a game we made a much harder work of than we probably should have needed to. No disrespect, but they finished 7th in the Cypriot League. We're Manchester United. We should be going out there and banging 3 or 4 goals past them, keeping a clean sheet, coming home without breaking a sweat. If we really want to turn it on, we can go score 5, 6, 7, 8. We just didn't seem to click that night. I mean, Ronaldo, especially, bless. I mean, I'm a huge Ronaldo fan, and I'm so delighted he scored tonight. I mean, again, he was another player who tonight, he came on. I wouldn't have started Martial, by the way. When he went off in the warm up with an injury, I would have just started Ronaldo. But it is what it is. I back the manager. I'm not. It's nothing. I'm not going. It's not a big thing. Eric Ten Hag made his decision. He's my manager. I'm going to back him. Don't mean I have to agree with everything he does, but I'm going to back him, support him nonetheless. Yeah, like I say, that match in Cyprus, 7th place team in the Cypriot League, playing even the 6th place team in the English Premier League. You would think, forget whether it's Man United, it's Arsenal, it's Chelsea, Liverpool, whoever it may be. You'd expect that 6th place team in the Premier League to go to Cyprus and just walk all over them. It didn't happen. We've got to do better. We're playing again. I think this Thursday in the return fixture at Old Trafford this coming Thursday. We need to do better. We can't be, putting a performance in like that again. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some differences. And now that Ronaldo's got that goal, hopefully he'll get a game back on the, again, it's a bit of confidence, getting back on the right track. Hopefully we'll see the Ronaldo that we all know and love again now. I've been hearing people say he's over, he's done. He's not. He's 37. He's not the same player he was, obviously, in terms of his pace and whatever. But that finishing ability, that doesn't go away. He's been having a bit of bad luck. Don't forget, he didn't have a pre-season. His son died a few months ago, and he's had other things in the family, apparently in the summer. So I've got a lot of time for Ronaldo, a lot of respect. He's got more than enough credit in the bank. I think he's, of everyone at this club, him and De Gea are the 2 players who've got that enough credit in the bank that, they can get away with a few bad performances or not quite being at the level for a little bit. They absolutely have earned that right. That's what it comes to. But he scored, and I think now he's scored. He's got a 700th goal out the way. The big, milestone, 700th club goal. Was it 700 goals in 943 games comes to mind? I might be wrong with the number of matches, but definitely 700 goal club goals, club matches. That is obviously. I mean, yeah, what an absolute legend of the game. Anyone who's doubting Cristiano Ronaldo and his quality, his finishing ability, what are you doing? You never write off Cristiano Ronaldo. He will prove you wrong time and time again. The guy's a machine. He's a professional. He's a consummate professional. He looks after his body. He's been like it since day one. He's not something new he's doing now because he's 37. He was doing it at 17 years old, and now he's 37. 20 years on, people are questioning him still. And, his Penaldo, his tap-ins. That wasn't a tap-in tonight. He's got the ball, ran down the wing, cut in, and they scored an absolute exquisite finish past the keeper. That's not a tap-in. So, yeah, I mean, he's not the same player he was 5 years ago. No 37-year-old is. But Ronaldo's not finished. Go back, watch tonight again. Watch that goal. Watch where he receives the ball out wide. How far he's ran with it from the wing, cut in, done the defender, done the goalkeeper. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's not finished. He's here. He's not. I'm not going to say he's here to stay at United long term, but he's staying at the top. He's a top level player. Whether he stays at United in January or the summer coming, who knows? We'll see. But he will be playing at a top level club regardless, and he'll be playing in the World Cup for Portugal. In obviously as long as he's fit, fingers crossed he doesn't get injured. It'll probably be his last World Cup. He will be playing at the World Cup, and he's still going to be Portugal's main man. And I think that's telling that at that age everyone wants to write him off, but he's still scoring exquisite goals. He's still going to be his country's main guy in a World Cup. So, enough said. Put respect on the guy's name. He deserves it. He's earned it. In a, 21-year career, he's earned that respect. If you write him off, you're going to look silly. That's all I can say. Yeah, that brings us back up to date then with tonight's game against Everton. I'll quickly run through the stats in terms of what the finishing stats were, obviously. So, obviously, the main thing that matters, obviously, scoreline is 2-1 to United. United had 3 shots on target, in double digits on shots off target. Everton had the one shot on goal, 1 shot on target, which they scored from. I think De Gea, in all honesty, was unsighted. I don't think he could have reacted any quicker or any better. I don't think he saw it until it was too late, and he was never going to get to it. So you can't blame De Gea for that. United has 64% possession overall. I think I'll say at half time was about 70. So Everton, I say they came back, especially that towards the end, they came back into it. But yeah. So I get, and looking at the saves, De Gea didn't make a single save. Whereas the Everton keeper Pickford made the 2 saves from a couple of shots that we had, which weren't necessarily anything special, but obviously still saves had to be made. So yeah, I think that it just shows that there is progression within the side. Casemiro, as I say, made a massive, massive difference. Possibly up there as man of the match. I mean, like the way he lost the ball and then won it back, fed Ronaldo for Ronaldo to get in. He straight away looked up. He's looking for that forward pass as soon as he won the ball back. He's like, okay, I've won it back. I made my mistake losing the ball. What can I do next? He's not dwelling on the ball. Look at me. Looks up, Ronaldo, bang, Ronaldo's off, goal. And he's the difference. He was the difference, I think, in midfield. Eriksen's played most of the games this season. Obviously, Lindelof's come into defence because of Varane picking up a knock, which Lindelof did well enough tonight. Some people, probably myself included, were a little bit worried about Lindelof pre-match. He's not a bad player, but he's not. He always, when he's playing the whole game, you just have this feeling that perhaps there's a mistake in him. There's a moment of madness in him, and it's just that little bit of uncertainty. Maybe if he had a run of games where he didn't make any mistakes and everything, he'd get that trust back, and I'm sure he would. But it's just based on last season and what we've seen in the last sort of year or two with him, you just get that feeling that there's that mistake, there's that moment where he'll give the ball away, or he'll miss time a tackle, or someone will just run past him because he can't get his feet sorted or whatever. It's just that feeling at the moment. But tonight he's come through it looking pretty well. Casemiro, obviously, made a huge difference in the middle. Luke Shaw at left back. I like Malice here. He's still a young lad. He's still got to learn. It's like 12 to 15 mil, something like that was paid for him. He's done well, but obviously he's had a couple of games there where he's taken off at half time in each game. Luke Shaw needs to come back in. Luke Shaw's still a quality player. He had a bit of a bad season last season, but then who didn't in the United shirt except for Ronaldo and De Gea? Bruno, again, he has his critics, but he was here, there, and everywhere, demanding the ball, trying to make things happen. He was tracking back. Yes, people criticise some of the things he does, or he gives the ball away too cheaply. But when you're trying to make things happen, sometimes that's the outcome. You know, yeah, it's and that was one of the things that when United first scouted him at Sporting Lisbon, that's one of the things I said. He gives the ball away a lot. But if you're always trying to play that killer ball, that to put someone in on goal, it won't come off every time. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just what happens when you're playing that style, and that's how it happens. But Bruno, to me, he played well. He was, like I say, he was everywhere. He was energy. There's the energy was there. He was always trying to make things happen. He was always getting stuck in. He was always. It felt like everywhere you looked, he was just there. Another for me, that was another good performance for Bruno. Rashford and Anthony on the wings. Obviously, Anthony got his goal. That's 3 goals in 3 Premier League matches. Um, which I think he scored 5 all season for Ajax last season, so he's already closing on that figure. Um, you know, yeah, I mean the guy looks like, and the way he took the goal tonight as well. It wasn't, and even the goal against City obviously didn't make any difference to the score, to the outcome of the match. But these aren't like he's doing little tap-ins for 5 yards. Like he's cutting in and but curling them, and he's scoring absolute belters of goals. Like he's just, and he's so young, he's so raw. I think there's a lot more to come from Anthony. He's another player who excites me. Perhaps he's another one who, like Ronaldo, who over the years will move into that more central role as a striker and just terrorise defenders from there. But at the minute, just coming in off from that wing, Dallo on the overlap, Anthony cuts in. It's working, so I don't see the need to change it. Maybe if going into next season or the season after, we need a striker, and we get another winger in, maybe that's a reason to change it. But at the moment, Anthony's doing a great job from that right wing. That's his position as far as I'm concerned. People say, oh, well, Anthony gave the ball away a couple of times, and so did Rashford. I mean, neither of them, especially as the game went on, were massively in the game. But when they did get the ball, you could see them, they were pressing, they were closing down, the energy, the desire was there. So I can't fault them. I cannot fault them. All I all I think as a fan of a football club, all you want from your players is the bare minimum is to try and put the effort in, and not every performance will be 10 out of 10 or even a 7 out of 10. Sometimes it will be a 6 or occasionally drop down to a 5. As long as like you can have a nightmare, but as long as the effort's there. I mean, remember, I'm obviously going back a few years here, but Diego Forlan, he was like the classic example. Came to United, seemed like he couldn't score to save his life, but the fans still sang his name because they could see that the effort was there. It wasn't not scoring because he was, he wasn't trying, he wasn't putting the effort in. It just wasn't working. It was just whether it's luck, whether it's quality wasn't quite at the level it needed. It just wasn't happening. But the effort was never questioned. And last season that happened way too many times. We questioned that effort, the desire, as well as the ability. And when that happens, that's when you end up with fans singing you're not fit to wear the shirt, and deservedly so, in my opinion. This season we've had bad matches where the scorelines, but I can't say I've questioned I've not questioned the desire. I've not questioned the hunger of the players on the pitch. Yes, you could look and go, we've not played well, we've not performed well. Is it just a bad day in the office? Is it ability? That's something you can dive into. But you can't question the hunger, the desire, the attitude, the mentality of the squad this season. And that's the big difference. Anyway, I've just realised, I've just looked at the clock, it's been about half an hour. Um, that's my thoughts anyway. That brings us up to date. Um, I'm going to go live on Thursday after the Europa League match. We'll give my reaction to that. We're playing Ammonia at Old Trafford. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to beat them, win that game comfortably. So I'm going to go out on a limb, say sort of 3-0, 3-1 sort of scoreline. That's what I expect to see. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I've been massively wrong before. Now that Ronaldo's back, I think we'll see a little, little sort of period now where he goes banging in goals for fun again. Um, that striker position, that's an interesting one, because if Martial is out for a couple of weeks, obviously Ronaldo's got the chance now to make that his position. If the only competition is Rashford, and then the question is who's going to replace Rashford on the flank, because Sancho's been out of form. So I think we need Rashford on that left at the moment. That means that middle berth, that central striker role, is Ronaldo's. Can he do it twice a week for a couple of weeks until Martial's fit again, for however long that lasts? We'll find out, obviously. But yeah, anyway, you're watching Call the Red. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit a comment, let me know what you think, and we'll catch you soon.